I'm currently, like, at the time of recording, currently working on a fix to the audio. I thought we've been having problems. I thought this would work. Apparently, it didn't work. But I'm going to be getting on that as soon as I can. All right. Now, Dad, I relinquish the show back to you.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that when enter any in 3, 2, 1, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
You know, I was thinking, we have been doing all of these discussions about the Punisher and so forth. It occurred to me that in addition to being the pimp hand of America, because this country needs a slap, that it may fall upon me to be the Punisher of the airwaves.
You're going to punish the airwaves?
I may have to be the Punisher of the airwaves. I might have to be the Punisher of the podcast world. I don't know. It's not a job. Like I said, it's not a job I was looking for, but it's a job I accepted because I knew that it needed to be done. All right. If you're watching right now on either YouTube or Facebook or Discord and you have a question, comment, or concern, drop it in the notes. And if we feel that it is pertinent, we will address it during the show. Yes, indeed. Now, for those of you that are new, millennials and Gen Z people who know nothing outside of social media, what I said at the beginning of the show during the opener, that was paragraph 2 of this little thing called the Declaration of Independence. Kind of an important document. You may have heard of it. If you're a Gen Z or a millennial, you probably heard the words Declaration of Independence and then moved on with your life. But what's interesting to me, and I think something that people gloss over far too often, people like to say, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We like to say that, right? It makes us happy. And even the left and even socialists and Democrats, scumbags, will say that. And they'll say, well, in order for you to get life, liberty, and happiness, we have to take over and control your life for you. Actually, if you read the words, it says, endowed by their Creator, capital C, not small c, with unalienable rights. We've talked about unalienable before. That means rights that not only cannot be taken from you, but you don't have the ability or the right to surrender. And rights is capitalized. Now you go to the next sentence and it says that to secure these rights, to secure them, to ensure that they remain, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. You see, ladies and gentlemen, when we founded this nation, we knew that government was a necessary evil. We knew that it was an evil, but it was a necessary evil. And if you have been fortunate enough to read the political thought of the American Revolution, if you're in the grad program, you should have. If you've read that, you understand that there was a long, drawn-out debate, kind of a Socratic seminar in the United States of America about the role of government and whether or not it was even necessary. And they came to the conclusion that it was indeed necessary. However, we must keep it small and restricted, and it must always derive its powers only from the consent of the governed. And that the purpose, the design of government in a free state is to secure the rights of the people. Think about that for a second. Is the government's job to keep you safe, to protect you from all harm? No. No, it's not. Well, no, Paul. No, we understood this. You know, people in prison are safe. People in prison get 3 meals a day. They're guaranteed a place to sleep. They're guaranteed food. They're guaranteed heat and electricity and utilities. They're guaranteed all those things. People who live in prisons are guaranteed safety. Well, they're not, because you can't guarantee safety, because that's a lie. People who are in prison get 3 meals a day. They get a bed to sleep in. They don't have to worry about paying an electric bill or a heat bill or anything like that. Perfect situation, right? Except they're prisoners. The purpose of government under the founding documents, and yes, the Declaration is one of the founding documents for those who don't understand it. The purpose of government is to secure the rights of the people, not to institute safety and security, not to make everything okay, and to save you from all the scary, scary stuff in the world. No, the purpose of government is to secure these rights. Think about that. I want you to let that digest for a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, every Monday, well, for the last month or so, we just started this recently, and if you haven't been paying attention, pay attention, freaks. Every Monday, we're going to do, and we have been doing, a Duracoat Finished Firearm of the Week, and this week is no exception. I've got a cool gun to talk about. Yes, indeed. If you guys click on the link that is in the show notes, it'll take you directly to Duracoat University. That's when you can learn how to make ugly guns not ugly anymore. Duracoat firearm finishes. All right. So what do I have in my hot little hands today? I've got a blaster. I've got a M1911 Yama. It's a Yama. It's a LLAMA. And you said, do what now? I know all you Gen Zs and probably most of you millennials don't even know what the heck a Yama is. It's made in España. Yes. LLAMA, Llama, or Yama. Is that correct, Zach? Is it from the Spanish lingity? Is it a Yama?
I think it's technically Yama, yes.
Yama. If you're in America, you say llama. If you're in America, you say llama. I got one of them llama 1911s. So this Yama 1911 was imported from España, and it is designed after the original patent, after the original Browning 1911 A1 patent. But there's a few differences. One of the main differences, you'll notice if you look on the side, you'll see that it has, well, you can see the edge or the outline of the extractor. And on a normal 1911, you can't, because the extractor it's internal. It's in that little hole, right? If you guys know your 1911s, you're like, no, the extractor is in the little hole, and then because you can pull it out and tune it. But on the Yama, you can actually see the extractor is kind of exposed. You can see that there. And this also has an internal, I'm not going to disassemble the gun, but it has the internal drop safe that the modern, like the 80 series Colts did. And you're like, what, the 80 series? What the heck is the 80 series? That was 50 years ago. Wasn't 50 years ago. Okay. But On top, we have a vented rib, not really a vented rib. We have a rib on top of the slide there. You can see. So what is this? What is a dealio? This was a used imported gun that I was able to get my hands on several years ago. It had a standard traditional generic blued steel finish. It had black plastic grips with which had the little grippy serrations embossed in them. And I was planning to do, obviously, I was planning to do the Punisher series of Duracoated firearms, and I wanted to do a handgun. I wanted to do a subgun, not really, but you know what I mean, a shotgun and a rifle, right? So I looked in my inventory and I said, what can I do? And this popped out. This 1911 style gun popped out to me because why? Well, if you guys are fans of the Punisher series, the actual comic book series going all the way back to the 70s and 80s, you'll know that Frank Castle was a Vietnam era veteran, not a GWAT veteran. And what was the number one gun, handgun for Vietnam veterans? The M1911, the 45, man. I can't even imagine the number of cartoon images of Frank Castle dressed up in his black and white tights with the skull, his skin tight. Do you guys remember the old Punisher cartoons where his outfit was essentially like a unitard, skin tight unitard thing with a skull on it, and he had the belt with the white little stuff. But pictures of Frank holding one hand at a 1911. And of course, it was sticking out towards the camera, so it was giant, enormous, and there was that cartoon flame coming out of the end of it. And I thought, you know what? And what's interesting to me is that in the modern incarnation of the Punisher on Netflix, that they decided to have Frank and his buddy carry 1911s, even though they're GWAT veterans. And the fact is that the 1911 hasn't been issued to U.S. military troops for 30 years. And it would have actually made a lot more sense for Frank to gravitate toward the M9, quite frankly. Because there's no way that when Frank Castle was a Marine, whatever he was, I can't remember. I can never figure out whether he was an officer, but he was enlisted, or he's an officer. Zach, do you remember how they portrayed his rank in the show?
I think he was a sergeant, right?
Well, yeah, but it's weird because when I watch it, I'm like, okay, he's behaving, or he has the duties of an officer, but he behaves like an enlisted man. Is kind of weird. But either way, there ain't no way in God's green earth that USMC Frank Castle was issued in 1911.
Lieutenant Frank Castle.
He was a lieutenant. Okay, he was a lieutenant. So he was technically an officer, but he behaved kind of, it was a weird thing. Like an enlisted guy, you know, because he was always against he was always butting heads with the officers, you know, with the people in charge. And that's what corporals and sergeants do. That's not what lieutenants do, but I digress. So this handgun, it started out life as a standard surplus. Basically, it was a used surplus. When I got it, I didn't get it new. It was a used surplus, imported Llama 1911 style. It's not, obviously it's not a 1911 A1 because it's modified a little bit and changed. But this is the Spanish version. If you were in Spain, if you were in España, and quite frankly, many places in Central and South America, you say, well, why would they do that? Well, because 50 years ago, what was the number one handgun in the Western Hemisphere? Well, it was the 1911. And how much ammo and how many magazines were available in the Western Hemisphere? Like metric tons of magazines and ammo. So it only makes sense, you know, if you are a Spanish dictator or you're a Central American army or whatever, you're like, well, Uncle Sam's got all these magazines and all this 1911 ammo. Why don't we make something that gobbles it up and uses it? And they're like, yeah, it's a great idea, man. Let's do that. And holsters and accessories and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that there are some parts of this gun that are interchangeable with an original Colt, and I also feel pretty certain that there are some that are not. So, like I said, this had a essentially a generic blackish blue. It was like just a super generic metal finish. It did, and it was wearing in places, and the grips weren't exactly the same color as the finish, and so forth. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and fix that. And you'll notice that I used the Mirage Flage, kind of the bone white color for the naked lady trucker and on one side, and then the skull on the other side.
That looks it looks good.
And then I thought, you know what? For the recoil spring plunger and the buffer, I'll make those the same color. And then of course the slide release, the slide lock, slide release. So there you go. I just touched it up. So that is it. That is the Duracoat finished firearm of the week. It is the 1911 45 ACP Yama semi-automatic single action semi-auto pistol. And available now at shopsotg.com. No, not really. There's only one of these, and that's it. So, but if you want to check that out, if you'd like to, you're like, well, I want to do that. Well, okay, you can do that. Go to Duracoat Firearm Finishes, order the slightly darker black, the Urban Mirage Flash, the skull template. Now, I got a confession to make. The Naked Lady skull template, or the Naked Lady template, not the skull template, is available from freedomstencils.com. Just quit pointing the gun. You know, Jaeger does that on his video. He's like, because somebody just tinkled in their panties a little bit because I pointed the gun at the camera.
Yeah.
Like, you should never point a gun at anything you're not willing to shoot. I'm willing to shoot the $39 Logitech camera.
That's funny.
I am willing. I am willing to do that. I don't want to, but if I shot that camera off the top of the monitor, it would be okay, and I'd live with it. So our boy James over at Freedom Stencils, you can go to freedomstencils.com, and they've got it. Duracoat has a ton. They've got a camouflage all the camouflage patterns and the skulls and that. And then if you go to the Duracoat page and they just don't have enough for you, okay, go over to the Freedom Stencils one, and you can get naked ladies and Mandalorians and all kinds of stuff. So there you go. All right, we talked about Duracoat. They are our buddies. They are good people. And why would you want to use Duracoat, Jared? Because life's too short?
Because life's too short for an ugly gun.
That's right. It's too short to have an ugly gun. It's also too short not to carry your freaking gun. And Crossbreed Holsters, if you carry your gun, well, if you want to carry your gun in either an inside of or an outside of or a chest rig, you can go to crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promotional code SOTG. What that's going to do for you is you're going to save money. You're going to get a high-quality holster. You're going to be dangerous on demand. You'll be a happy camper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sense it does make. Speaking of sense it does make, if you pop on over to brownells.com, they got this little thing called the Armory. Oh, guess what's on sale right now? Polymer 80 lowers on sale. SB Tactical
Boom.
Pistol braces in stock on sale. Get it now. NOW.
Now's the time.
Now. Get it, build it, own it, be an American. It's time for Americans to start acting and behaving like Americans, not like a bunch of weak, spineless ninnies. Polymer 80 lowers, SB Tactical braces. Get them now. If you go to Brownells, they've got them in stock right now at this very moment. I would highly suggest, here's the thing, even if you don't have an extra Glock slide and you don't have a parts kit or whatever, I would buy it now. Because here's the thing, I'm an American and I don't need your permission. I don't wake up every day thinking, what does Washington, D.C. allow me to have? I don't wake up in the morning thinking, What am I allowed to have? Because that's not how I live my life. And if you don't live your life like that either, congratulations, good on you. We're bros, 5x5. Go to Brown Adult and get a Polymer 80 lower or an SB Tactical. Because what we're going to have to be doing in the future is all you guys that have 3D printers, we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking. Right now, what you need to have, like, oh, I don't have one, is the thumb drive is probably going to be the most powerful weapon in our future arsenal. The thumb drive.
That's funny.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're scratching your head. You're like, what's he talking about? But those who know are like, oh, yeah, yep, I know what you be talking about. So support our good buddies at Duracoat, Crossbreed, and Brownells. All right, it's Monday. It's time for you to close that hole underneath your nose and listen louder.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Francis Joseph, that sounds like a guy who fought in the French and Indian War. Are you named after someone who no, I'm not even joking.
Yeah, it does.
Are you named after someone who fought in the French and Indian War? He says, what about SOCOM Marines being issued 1911s? That was a joke. Okay, the whole SOCOM 1911s thing, it was a silly joke. We're going to spray paint them sand color and so forth. That was a joke. I mean, it wasn't a joke, but it was a pointless masturbatorial exercise. Because when you get in theater, if you're the guy that has the super specialized thing, here's what you never have. You never have the ammo, the parts, or the accessories to go with it. When we were in theater in the first Gulf War, for some strange, stupid reason, well, I know why, because it's the Navy and they don't care, our corpsmen showed up with 1911s, right? We hadn't been carrying 1911s for a couple of years yet, and the Army hadn't been carrying them since like 86 or 87. So our corpsmen showed up with issued old basically they were World War II generation 1911s. Guess what they didn't have? Magazines and ammo.
Oh, I was actually just going to say that as a joke.
No, they didn't. They didn't have magazines and ammo. What do you mean, Paul? That's dumb. That's not true. No, it is, because they got sent to units that where 45 ACP ball ammunition was not part of their T&E. So they didn't have it. So like they had to set about scrounging and trying to barter and, to get 1911 ammo. That's not true. Yeah, that's the really real world. And issuing troops guns for that, you send them out and it's, the Marine SOCOM thing. You know what that was for? It was to sell guns to American citizens so they can say, I have the same gun as the Marine SOCOM do. Whatever. It puts me in mind of the when the Navy SEALs officially got the Mark II or Mark IV or Mark VIII or Mark whatever the heck it was, the HK, the big monstrous 45 it came in a box with all these accessories and everything. And I talked to a retired SEAL chief who was in the same time I was, and actually later on after I got out. And I asked him about that, and he goes, yeah, they bought them and they were in the armory, and we go into the range and play with them. He said, we never carried them. We left them in the armory because they were essentially big, heavy toys. I said, what'd you carry? He said, I just carried a SIG. I carried my SIG. I'm like, no kidding? He said, yeah. So a lot of this stuff you guys see in magazine articles, this special operations unit adopts the duppa. And most of that is, so there's 12 guys that are carrying that. It's so that you, the American gun buyer, will get excited about that company and buy that gun. So I hate to hear like, oh, you just burst my bubble, Paul.
Was it a 14 gauge needle or?
It was a 14 gauge decomp needle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't mess with Texas. Every state in the United States, well, okay, every state in free America. I don't expect the spineless communist states in New England or on the West Coast to do this because they're spineless and they're communists. And it's your own fault for not kicking out those communists from your state houses. So just live with what you got to live with. But we got a story here from the 10th Amendment Center. Do you guys remember what the 10th Amendment is? Well, that's really old. It doesn't apply anymore. We don't even think about that. Throw that in the garbage can. Nope. 10th Amendment still is part of the Constitution, and it's still law. Just because people want to ignore the law doesn't mean it's not the law. Okay? And you know what? It's more than that. People say, oh, well, you just said that not every law is a good law. No, it's not. This is a compact. That's something people it just flies away and they don't think about. The Constitution of the United States of America is a mutual compact between the states and the people. So it's not just an arbitrary thing that a bunch of douche nozzles went into a building and came out and said, look at this, we have a new law. No, this is a compact between this government, the states, and the people. So, Jared, what is going on in Tejas?
Says Texas House Committee passes bill to ban state enforcement of federal or future federal gun control. This is published on April 6, 2021. It's out of Austin, Texas. Today, a Texas House Committee passed a bill that would ban state and local enforcement of any new federal gun control, a major step toward bringing such federal acts to an end within the state. Representative Justin Holland, who's a Republican from Rockwell, introduced House Bill 2622 on March 17th. Since then, it has garnered 49 additional co-sponsors and the support of Governor Greg Abbott. The proposed law would prohibit any Texas governmental agency, including state and local police departments, from contracting with or in any other manner providing assistance to a federal agency or official with respect to enforcement of federal statute, order, rule, or regulation purporting to regulate a firearm accessory, or Hank Hill's here now, or firearm ammunition if the statute, order, rule, or regulation imposes a prohibition, restriction, or other regulation, such as a capacity or size limitation or a registration requirement that does not exist under the laws of the state of Texas.
Bingo.
That was a long sentence.
Yep. And essentially,
but it was well punctuated.
You Alpha Tango Foxtrot people can venture forth and fornicate yourselves. You can consume a satchel of Richards.
Somebody sent me a picture. It was a T-shirt that said AFT agent. Is that, I don't know why. Is that something that was said?
Yeah, because the imbecile in charge, the dunce, the pretender to the throne, during his live press conference, referred to that agency as the AFT. Because he's a dementia patient. Geez. Because you have allowed a human of limited mental resources to sit in the highest office of your country. Congratulations, America. He can't get through one single paragraph without screwing up. Not one. But it's okay. We'll let a dunce run our country. A dunce and a harlot. That's who's running our country right now.
Harlan said that we can't rely on federal government to lead on this issue, and in reality, they will do vastly more harm than good for gun rights. The House State Affairs Committee held a hearing on HB 262 on April 1st, which was an important first step in the legislative process. Today, the committee passed the bill with a vote of 11-2, and that was on April 6th.
Two communists, two state communists.
How could you see? I don't quite understand why you would vote against your state
Because you're a
being,
communist.
yeah, enforcing your state's rights over the federal.
I don't think our state has rights. I think our state needs to be subservient to the federal government. That's not how the United States of America was founded or formed. And that's currently not how we have a playbook. It's called the United States Constitution. Everybody says, well, we need to come up with a new this and a new that. You know, I hear people say, well, we need to get some smart people together and come up. No. You don't need to come up with anything new. We've got the playbook. The problem isn't the playbook. The problem is that people in D.C. ignore it. That's the problem. We just need to enforce what's already there. We don't need new laws. How do you stop murder, Jared?
You legislate the tool away.
Oh, that's right, because murders never happened on planet Earth until the invention of gunpowder.
Yeah, and murder.
Did you know that there were no murders in the United States? And then I love people say, "Well, there was no mass murder. There might have been murders, but they."
It's like, what?
Which history class did you not take? There are mass murders every day in countries in Africa. All right. They walk through the villages with machetes, chopping people up. No, that doesn't happen. Yeah, it does. You can't legislate away evil. You can only punish it when it occurs. But whatever. So I wanted to bring this before you guys. Where are we at right now on time, my son?
31 minutes.
31 minutes. Okay. I wanted to bring this before you guys because the fact is this is not the first time this has come up. Wyoming, you know what's funny? Somebody said, "Oh, Wyoming, you know, they expanded concealed carry, but they diminished the preemption laws." And I was like, I'm pretty sure, I feel pretty certain that back during the reign of Comrade Barry Soetoro, that several states already passed laws like this, and I'm pretty sure Wyoming was one of them, that said that state and local law enforcement are forbidden from aiding, assisting, helping, whatever other words you want to, in the enforcement of any federal gun control restriction, confiscation, registration, whatever. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where you live. I would hope that if you live in a free state, that you would tell your representative. Here's the deal. In states, that's the good. You guys understand why it was so important for senators to be nominated by state representatives, not from a popular vote? Do you understand why that is? Why, Paul? Because state representatives are the closest representatives to the people. You see, right now, I would bet you that you have a rep, right? You have a federal government rep, right? You have a congressional rep, right? Do you know that person? Have you ever met that person? Could you meet them or see them if you wanted to? Well, no, they have an office in the city, but they're hardly ever there. Most of the time, they're either on vacation or they're in D.C. And, state representatives are your neighbors. State representatives don't do it full time. They go to the Capitol a few weeks or a month or two out of the year total, and then they come back home. And when your representatives are close to you, then they are beholden to you. They don't become your rulers because they are your neighbors. State representatives is your local dentist or the local hog farmer. When I was we lived in Holmes County, the state rep for our district was a guy who owned a hog farm. He was our neighbor. We knew him. We saw him in the grocery store. We knew his kids and his family and so forth. The reason you want your representatives to be close to the people is because the farther away from the people they get, the more arrogant, the more ruling class they become. When they leave your town, your state, your city, and they go to Washington, D.C., you don't see them, they don't see you. They start partying with all the ruling class people, and they start playing a little, let's divide up the power game. Our founding fathers were smarter than we are because they knew if we allowed senators, Jared, where in human history did you have, and if you say Star Wars, I'm going to punch you through that camera. Where in human history did we have an example of what happens with a Senate?
Well, I can't say it now.
Yeah, if you say
Star Wars.
No. Where's the first most famous Senate?
In Star Wars.
Come on. Help everybody. Come, bring everybody together here. Say the word Rome. All right. Don't be a jerk.
But Rome is burning.
Rome. So what happened in Rome? You see, our forefathers, the founding fathers, they studied history. They knew what happened in Rome, where they started out with a good idea. Hey, representatives of the people, we're going to have a Senate. Right? Okay, great. We have a Senate. And what happened? The senators got together, and after so long, they all got together and said, hey, we're all cool. Those people are all a bunch of dummies. And if we all agree if we agree on everything, we can take their gold and money, and then we can spend it. And we can live fat and happy and have parties and orgies and all that stuff. I mean, you guys know Roman history. So our founders, they knew that was the case. They're like, yeah, they started out, that's like the Greek city-states. We're going to be complete and total democracies. Everything's going to be democratic. And what happened? You ended up with mob rule. And so they said, all right, we're going to have a Senate, and we will have, because we have two separate branches, and we want them to argue. We don't want the House and the Senate to always get along. We want them to argue. We want there to be debate. Sometimes we want the Senate to shut down the House, and we want the House to shut down the Senate. Because if they're not passing new laws, they're not taxing us. Because every law is a tax, in case you forgot. Every single law has a tax bill attached to it.
Hey, Prince Philip just died.
Oh, I'm sorry. The one who had been to Epstein Island?
I don't know. Had he?
Wasn't Prince Philip the one who was, or was Prince Philip the Queen's husband?
Prince Philip is Queen husband.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's the
Who's
one
the
that's been
prince?
like a corpse for the last 20 years.
Okay, who's the one that the royal family member that had been to Epstein Island?
Oh, that wasn't Harry. Harry lives in America now.
No. It's one of them. Because I figured if that guy died, and he, accidentally hung himself with toilet paper.
Oh, no.
With toilet paper.
Prince Philip was 99.
Oh, okay. Well, rock on, Prince Philip. All right, moving on. So we don't have to worry about the royal family because we're Americans.
Exactly. Prince Andrew. Andrew's
the one who's on Epstein Island. Thank you very much. He's the one who's accidentally going to kill himself next. So the founder said, hey, we're going to have a Congress, representatives. We're going to have a House of Representatives over here. We're going to have a Senate. They're going to be elected at different times, so they won't all be vying for the same piece of the pie, But the senators will be nominated by the state representatives, by reps from every single state. People say, no, that's dumb. Why would you do that? Because when you do that, if they go to Washington, D.C., if they go to the Capitol and start acting against the will of the people and behaving like ruling class elitists, guess who can recall them? The state representatives. The state representatives can recall them. They can vote they can take a vote of no confidence and they can remove them. They don't become little kings. Well, that worked out for about 100 years or so. And then the senators said, Up, DMX died. Doggone it. DMX and Priscilla at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yep, your mom, she said he's not doing well. I don't think he's going to make it yesterday.
Now, we get to play a morbid game, though.
What?
Who is going to get
December
more
3.
press, Prince Philip or DMX?
Oh, DMX, obviously, in the United States.
I don't
So,
know.
but moving on, let's stick with it. Ladies and gentlemen, the 10th Amendment, the rights of the states. This could not be a more important topic today. And you need to educate your children and your spouses and your friends and your neighbors. Believe it, just because Sniffy Joe and the harlot ignore the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and pretend it doesn't exist, doesn't mean it's not still the law of the land. It doesn't mean that it's still not the compact between the people and their government, because that's what the Constitution is. And when one of those sides decides to ignore it, violate it, then what they are doing is, in fact, they are attacking, they're committing a crime. Do you understand that when an elected official violates, circumvents, or ignores deliberately the Constitution, they are committing a crime against you, against the people of the United States? Do you understand that? Because if you don't, you'd better. You'd better remember it, figure it out. We are not their slaves. They are not our rulers. And the 10th Amendment is still in effect. And the only way we're going to put in check the criminals who are currently living, Sniffy Joe and the Harlot, that could be a sitcom, Sniffy Joe and the Harlot. It'd be on Nickelodeon, Nick at Night. It'd be on Nick at Night. So the only way that you're going to put these criminals in Washington in check is to go to your state house and say, look, you need to enforce the rights of our state and our people. Because they don't where in the Constitution of the United States does it give the centralized federal government the authority to disarm the people of the states? Go ahead and tell me. It doesn't. Nowhere in the compact between the states and the people and the central federal government do they have the authority to go into the individual states and either restrict, confiscate, register. They don't have the authority here. Oh, no, the ATF has the authority everywhere in the whole world, and even on the moon. They have all the authority. No, they don't. They don't have constitutional authority to come into your state. It is not granted by the Constitution. They don't have it. Now, just because they make up things, they ignore the Constitution and make up things, doesn't make it the law. And it is up to you, the people of Texas, Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming, Utah, Idaho, etc., to tell your state representatives and your governor, hey, you keep D.C. and those chimpanzees at the AFT out of our state. You keep those fornicators and those phallus consumers, you keep those phallus consumers and fornicators out of our state because they don't have the right to be here. We don't want them here. Keep them out of our state. And in no uncertain terms. Well, maybe if it's for health and safety. No. Congratulations to Texas. Good job. This is the model that every free state in America should be following. And it's not hard. It's not difficult. It just takes fortitude and courage. And your state reps, remember, your state reps are your neighbors. This is the guy who's a local cattle rancher, who's an attorney, who's a doctor, who's a whatever. And that's the great thing about state representatives, is because they know you and you know them. They're not off on some far off land 1,000 miles away from you. And if they turn on you, If they vote against the will of the people know them. That's a great thing. It's like, I see you in the grocery store. You turned on us. You're a traitor. What's mean, Paul? This is an adult game we're playing here. If you're worried about meanness or hurting people's feelings, you go play for the other side. It's time to stand up and demand that your state and your state representatives defend you and your neighbors and your family and your community. I don't give a crap what they do in that cesspool and that sewer of D.C., the criminal behavior that's going on up in D.C. It can stay there. But here in free America, we're not going to put up with that crap. And you need to send a message loud and clear. You keep the AFT out of our state. End of story. End of story. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's it. We're going to be back on Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm going to go ahead and give you another warning. I gave you guys a warning in January of 2020. I said, hello, America. I need to tell you this. And a lot of you, because you're smart listeners, paid attention. And a lot of your friends, neighbors, and coworkers didn't. And we're going to find out what that is on Wednesday. So until then, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
All right. So.
Wow, man. Everybody's kicking off while we're on air.
Who is?
What do you mean, who?
Everyone. Oh, everyone. Like, look at that.
Prince Philip died. I get it, and a message popped up in the corner. DMX died.
What?
Where do you see that?
Did you not hear that? Yeah, while
Oh,
talking,
DMX.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
after he said Prince Philip.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no. Not DMX.
Who the heck's going to give it to me now?
Is he up in here?
He's down under.
Damn.
Oh. Who's going to give it to me now? That's funny. Zach, so there are 3 versions of SOTG 1044.
Where?
That are uploaded to our site.
Now I'm looking in the site right.
All right, I'm going to go pee.
Oh, public site.
No,
No?
that's on our members student lounge.
I'm looking right now.
I just sent you a post. I just sent you a picture.
Correct. I don't know where the hell that picture is.
It's in the media library. There are 3 episodes that are uploaded. Which one is correct? I embedded the pigs-2. You uploaded 3 different audio files.
No, I didn't.
What?
I did not upload 3 audio files.
Well, somebody did, and they're named -1, -2, and then no dash.
You know what I think happened?
What?
So when I was trying to upload, while I was trying to do the Lipson thing, I did the thing, and then I hit, okay, no publish anywhere, please, thank you. And then I hit the done button, and then I went and checked, and then it said, pending publishing everywhere. And so I quickly deleted the episode, but I guess it got in fast enough to where
No, these don't. It doesn't publish the media on our site.
I did not upload three versions of the show. I uploaded one version of the show. I went to the audio. I chose the one file. I hit enter. It loaded, and I was like, sweet.
For Wednesday's episode?
For Tuesday's episode. For
Thursday's episodes, whatever?
Yeah.
Well, there are 3 here, so.
I have no absolute clue why there are 3 episodes there. I am just as confused as you are.
Okay, this one works fine.
As long as it works, I guess. No idea. So, do we want to take a quick break?
What?
Do we want to take a quick break?
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right. Want to say 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, is Dad still here, or did he?
No, he left.
Okay. Yeah,
Well-
I need to refill my coffee after I fix this media thing.
And I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm going to wake myself up something real quick.
Okay. Grad program members, the stuff is fixed on the site.
Yes, thank you, Jared. And everybody, we will be back in about 10 minutes. So, goodbye. Yo, Dad. He'll be back. You're welcome, Francis. Dad. There we go. Alrighty, so everyone is back. Jared, we can't hear you because you're muted.
Interrupt Ozzy like that.
Well, we need to keep doing the show. It's
Yeah,
been,
I said it was a good song.
yeah, it is a good song, but we're gonna get delisted off Facebook and YouTube. Well, yeah, but that's how half people are watching.
Oh, are we still live streaming?
Yeah, we go over this
Oh, you
every week.
It's all right.
No, I mean you couldn't mute him or whatever.
No, I am unable to mute Dad specifically.
Oh,
All right, and now I'm going to turn off the loop on that video.
yeah. There you go. Good job.
And are you both ready to?
What were you playing? Were you playing the pajama party music? While
Yeah.
I was... Okay, well, I didn't hear it. I couldn't hear the pajama party music.
You probably had me muted, or it was pretty quiet. Oh, Spilly told me to tell you guys to set your audio to something new. I'm going to send you pictures in Slack.
Set our audio.
Our
Yes,
audio?
on your end.
My
Like-
board?
No, not your board. Your Zoom.
My Zoom audio?
Zoom. A zoom. Bada boom boom.
Okay, well, do I have to do that right now, or should I do it later?
No, but I'm telling you right now before I forget. Also, did you see that Facebook post I sent you guys in Slack as well?
Where'd
Oh,
you send the?
Who died of the virus and then Facebook fact checked her out? Yeah.
Correct. Yes. She got the
Well, I mean-
vaccine, and 2 days later she died.
It doesn't matter. It's more important for people to have it than to live.
Yeah.
Just because
Oh.
people are dying from it doesn't mean it's not good.
Also, New York is fast tracking vaccine passports, but that's something we could talk about on the show probably.
You know what? I don't care.
You don't want to talk about that?
Nope. Don't want to talk about it.
All right. Well, if you're
People in
here,
New York 6-7 years ago, Jared, when did they pass the SAFE Act? It was when we were in the studio in Biloxi.
well, yeah, we know that, Ryan.
And all those people in New York wrote me stupid, dirty letters and told me how dumb I was and I didn't know what I was talking about and that would never last and Kumo would be gone and da 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 da. Well, 7 years later and Kumo's still there.
And he's gotten worse, both
And
in
he's gotten
politics
worse.
and in person.
Yeah, I think he was always bad. We just didn't know it publicly.
Oh yeah. You know what I mean?
So for 7 years, the people of New York have had the opportunity and the time
To get rid of him.
to get rid of him and fix their state, and they haven't. So that means
I don't have this.
they're not going to.
Never mind.
They don't care, and they're not going to fix it. All they want to do is cry. So I don't care. I'm tired of them.
Okay, I changed those settings. Show in meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. Enable these options when original sound is on. High fidelity music mode. Echo cancellation. Stereo.
Where I don't know how I
take off echo cancellation. You go to. Are you on a Mac or PC?
PC.
PC.
Zach, help him.
The studio computer is a PC. Remember?
Okay,
Yeah.
Dad, go to your sound settings. I'll update on the title so people don't think we're going
Sound settings for the computer?
Zoom. Or
You
just
need
go
to
to
help him get
settings.
there.
By the little microphone, there should be an up arrow. Click on that and click audio settings.
Okay. Microphone up arrow. There's no. Oh, okay. There you go. Audio settings. I'm there.
Yes. Now, sorry, I had a cough. Go to suppress background noise and set that to low.
Is that going to be on the default page?
It'll be under audio, the one with the little headphones.
It is. It already is. It says suppress background noise low.
Okay,
It is.
good. Now, under Music and Professional Audio,
Mm-hmm.
check mark Show in Meeting option to turn on original sound. Check mark that.
Okay, I just did that.
All right, now enable these options when original sound is on. High fidelity music mode.
Okay. How about echo cancellation? Should I leave that checked?
All of the ones, turn that off. In all of the checkboxes under high fidelity music mode should be unchecked.
Okay.
Ow.
Am I good?
Shit. I didn't think about this part. Click on advanced. There should be an advanced button.
Yep.
All right, now do you see signal processing by Windows, blah, blah, blah?
Yep.
Turn that to off, and then parentheses Windows dash, I think it says raw.
Yeah, it is off.
Okay, and what is echo cancellation set to?
Auto.
All right, leave that. Now, go back to the little window where you see Bingus and Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Up in the top left corner, there should be a little shield and a button that says turn on original sound.
Yep.
Now, click that so that it turns blue and says the words turn off original sound. Up.
Okay, it is.
Up. Never mind. Turn that shit back off.
Okay.
All right, because I can hear myself when you do that, so
Yeah,
never
that
mind.
was weird.
All
Oh,
right.
because he's going through the board.
Oh.
Wait, Dad, turn your phone slider down. The one that runs the music back into your computer.
Okay.
Now turn on that original sound and see what that does.
All right.
Can I still hear myself? Yep, I can hear myself.
Yep.
All right, turn that off. Never mind. You don't get that part. But everything else
That's weird.
should make it sound better.
I have original sound turned on.
But I can't hear myself.
Do you hear
so
yourself double in mine?
I cannot hear me. Can anybody in the chat hear an echo?
I was hearing Jared echoing.
Oh, you hear like Dad?
Am I echoing now?
Say like a whole
Hello?
sentence, Jared.
I'm going to say a whole sentence right now. We're going to be doing Student of the Gun Radio episode 1046, I believe.
No, it's not echoey. It just sounds different.
Gary, you hear an echo?
Gary Gross hears an echo.
I'm making sure that's what the yes is. The echo seems to be gone now.
Okay.
I don't have any idea how.
It's something. Oh, go ahead.
I would say I don't know how far the Facebook delay is. Okay,
15
Mike
to
says
30
no.
seconds.
All right, so
Yeah,
we
it's a
should be
long
good.
time. It's like 30 seconds or something.
All right, we could earlier, but not at the moment. Okay, so we should be good now. Excellent. All right. Now, all that being said, are you two ready to get back to the show?
Yep.
All right, then Dad, you're going to start us off in 3, 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this show. Welcome to Student of the Gun Radio's Wednesday episode. This is a live public show, number 1046. Congratulations to you. What are we going to talk about today? Ammo. Now is the time. And you say, no, it's not, Paul, because it's not like it was 2 years ago. Okay, I'm going to explain that to you. And then also we're going to have a homeroom. And I'm going to tell you, let's be careful out there. Let's remember, let's be careful out there. And we'll talk about who used to say that. All that and more on Student of the Gun Radio.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, indeed. Some of you guys out in my audience, when I said, hey, let's be careful out there, you're like, oh, you just took me back to my childhood. You took me back 20 years, Paul, or 30 years or more. Wow. You're welcome. I do that for you. Oh man, Q&A. If you're watching live, on Facebook or YouTube or in the Discord channel, go ahead and Leave in questions, comments, concerns if you have them. If you don't have them, that's fine too. Just close the hole under your nose and listen. I mean, I don't care. You say, I don't have any comments, questions, or concerns because you are such an excellent teacher, Paul, that you just put everything out there. Are you boys hearing any kind of crackling in your ears?
Negative.
Okay. It's just through my ears. All right. Oh, man. I tell you what, boys, does it seem like the audio's gotten more difficult in the last few months?
You have no idea.
You have no idea. I don't understand it. It should. I don't know.
Technology, it's fun.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to a Brownells Bullet Points brought to you by, well, our good friends at Brownells. Boom. Yes, indeed. That's the intro music for the Brownells Bullet Points. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Those of you who have been with us, you've been with us for many, many moons, or actually not even that many moons. If you go back to the year 2019, go back to early 2020, somebody who looks and resembles this guy, looks a lot like this guy here, came to this microphone. Well, it was actually that microphone, but you know what I mean. It was a black carbon steel microphone, and said, go to your ammo locker, see what you have. Do you have what you want? Do you have what you think you should have?
Do you have what you want, what you really, really want?
What you really, really want. Because I said, look, it's 19, I said, the prices of ammo aren't going to get lower. And we even went so far as to do the stock market buy now price. Remember, Jared, when we were doing the buy now prices? And I said, if you can find 9mm training ammo for 20 cents or less around, buy. If you can find 5.56 training ammo for 30 cents around or less, buy. Those were the buy prices. Buy now. Firearms companies were going out of business. Firearms distributors were going out of business in 2019, okay? Because they couldn't sell product. And then, bam, within 6 months, the prices doubled, then they tripled, then they quadrupled, then they quintupled. And what did your friends, neighbors, and coworkers all do?
Go buy stuff. Oh, go buy everything.
All your friends, neighbors, and coworkers got on to the message boards and then this, and they're like, I can't find ammo. And that's when you said, no kidding, moron. I told you a year ago, and you said, oh, I'm not paranoid like you. Really? You're not paranoid like me? This is what I'm about to tell you guys. Listen to me. The prices of ammunition today are not what they were in 2018 or 19. They're not going to be. Ammunition is not going to fall back down to you're not going to get 9mm for 18 cents a shot. You're not going to get 223 training ammo for 26, 27 cents a shot. It's not going to happen. There's a lot of reasons at play that make that statement true. But what I am seeing, and like I said to you guys numerous times, I subscribe to all. At some point in time, I gave pretty much everybody my email address, right? The CF and the PA and the PSA and the MW and the, of course, Brownells. And so every day in my promotions email box, I get, I get these, notifications. Now, when we came back from our trip about a month ago, we said to you guys, hey, Brownells in their store, they have case lots of 7.62 by 39 for $339. So you do them, it's 1,000 rounds, 33 cents a shot. Is that great prices? Is that 2019 prices? No. Is that the best price you're probably going to get right now? Yes. They had steel case 5.56 for $499 for 1,000. Not good prices. I would never give you 50 cents a shot for steel case. But that's not the world in which we live is a different world. They were selling it in thousand case lots. You know, some places you're just like, man, I go to my local gun shop and they'll only sell me 2 boxes at a time. Like, yeah, no kidding. Ammo is coming back. And the truth of the matter is, what I'm seeing is the best way to buy it is in case lots. I'm seeing a lot of these, you know, Brownells has got, unfortunately, you say, well, it's great, you know, you say they had it in store in their store, but I'm not there. Okay. What did we say? How many of you guys know drivers, professional drivers? We do. Justin and Doug, and I don't know if Doug's OTR anymore, but anyway, but if you know an over-the-road driver and they're buzzing up and down the countryside on Interstate 80, you get with that dude and you say, dude, I'll give you $200. We'll split a case of whatever. Next time you go by, pick me up a case or get 2 cases or whatever. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, hopefully, I know that most of my audience members, a lot of you guys are like, dude. I listened. I'm good. I've got what I need. Don't sweat it. Okay, great. That's awesome. That's fantastic. But then there are some of you who I talked into buying an AK this year. For those of you that I talked into buying an AK, I'm telling you right now, as I'm talking into this microphone, there are companies out there selling case lots of 7.62 by 39. And you're like, yeah, but it's the steel case ammo, and I don't want that. I want brass. Stop. Back up the train. If you've got an AK, shoot steel case ammo through it. It's perfectly fine. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to have to be. This is not going to last. What we're seeing now is a weird little, I don't know what you want to call it. It went, and now it's kind of leveled. And it's
like when you watch the stock market, it's like going
like
down,
yeah, boom, and it's leveled.
Right now is the time to go.
Right now is the time. I don't care who you buy it from. I really don't. If you want to buy it from,
I do. I want them to buy it.
Buy it from Brownells if they've got it. We already told you about that. We hipped you to that deal. We said, hey, it's available. It's there. If you want to get it, get it. The latest email I got from Brownells was, let me see, it was ammo mag bundles. So they're doing that thing where they'll sell you like X number of mags and ammo at the same time. For instance, PMC ammo. Somehow they must have got a shipping container or a dozen shipping containers full of PMC ammo over there at Brownells. Oh, yeah. Right now, let's see. Click, boom. You can order 200 rounds of 5.56 full metal jacket and three 25-round retro mags. You know, I don't have any of those.
Why?
I don't have any of those.
I thought you said why. Do you know?
No,
why?
I don't. The M16 retro mags. I don't have one of those. What's the heck's going on there? How did that happen? We've got another one here. They've got 5.56 PMC 5.56 plus 10 Lancer mags. So you say, but that's not the price I want to pay, Paul. I don't want to pay that price. Okay, congratulations. You don't want to pay that price. This is me telling you, if you fart around, if you're one of these guys who thinks, no, I'm going to wait a couple months and things are going to stabilize and ammo prices are going to come down. I don't believe in my heart that that's going to happen. I don't. In my heart, what I believe is going to happen is it's going to get worse. And we're going to have a really, really hard time as Americans. So what I'm telling you today, while I've got the opportunity, while I have your attention, I am telling you that if you're waiting for prices to get back down to where they were in 2019, you know, the 17-cent 9 mil and 25-cent 556 and 20-cent 762, if you're waiting for that, it's not going to happen anytime in the near future. But ammo is out there. Now, see, there's a big difference between I can't find any ammo and I don't want to pay for it. It's there. It's coming back. How long is it going to come back? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm telling you, magazines, ammo, parts, and components. If you're one of those guys, you're like, I've been kind of thinking about doing a build. I've been kind of thinking about doing a this or whatever. Or I just picked up an AK, but I can't find ammo for it. That's a lie. If you picked up an AK and you're like, I can't find ammo for it, there's a difference between I can't find it or I can't find it for 20 cents a shot. Those are not the same thing.
Yeah, it's out there.
Like, oh, I can't find it for free. Now, you're not going to find it for free. Well, actually, we may very soon have free ammo for you guys, but that's a totally different discussion. Now, calm down. You're like, ooh, people who weren't paying attention all of a sudden just perked up their ears. Are like, what did he say? You might be giving away ammo. What? Yeah, we'll have some news on that in the very near future. And I need to talk to the Future today, actually. So I didn't say Fuhrer, I said Future. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Brownells Bullet Points moment for today. I've been paying attention. In one of the reasons that I don't unsubscribe to all those things from the CF and PSA and PA and blah, blah, blah. One of the reasons I don't is because I use those emails as kind of a barometer of what's going on. Because I can see, I know how the retailers, distributors, and wholesalers, I know what they're doing and what they're pushing and what they have extra of. And the reason they have that is because the consumer is either buying it or they're not buying it. Mm-hmm. And so now all of a sudden I'm seeing these case lot specials start trickling out. That wasn't there 2 months ago, 3 months ago. 3 months ago, you had to mortgage your house to get a case of rifle ammo.
I feel like we shouldn't be telling people this, but we love you so much.
Well, if you're listening live, you're like, "Oh, I'm listening live. I know this before next Wednesday."
Yeah.
We might want to check in actually next Wednesday and see. You're like, "Next Wednesday? What are you talking about?" It's this Wednesday. It's today. Are you talking to me from the future? No, I'm talking to you from the past.
Yeah.
This is a ghost from the past talking to you in the present about the future.
That's very true.
I am the ghost of the past speaking to you in the present about the future. Mm-hmm. You didn't know you were going to get that today, did you? No, you didn't. So, hey, like I said, do what you want. Live your life however you wish and desire to live it. But the one thing I will not tolerate or listen to is people coming around during crises saying, "No one ever told me." Yeah, they did. The fact that you chose to ignore it is different than not knowing. You say, well, my priority said I don't care and I don't want it and I'm not going to worry about it. Great. Awesome. Fantastic. Sharpen sticks and throw rocks. I don't care. So there you go. All right. So Brownells, how do you know? Like you say, well, Paul, you just told me that there's a special deal and it's in stock right now. How did you know that? Because I signed up for their freaking email, dude. And if you don't want to wait for an email, you can text
BRN to 556-223.
That's right. Text BRN to 556-223. And as soon as they have ammo in stock, boom, you will get a text from them that says, hey, freak, here's ammo in stock. Oh, don't say freak, Paul. That hurts people's feelings.
Oh,
I'm sorry, freak. Okay. Brownells.com. There you go. Duracoat, because life is too short
to have an ugly gun.
That's right. That's right. I'm still holding the Punisher blaster here, the 45 Punisher blaster. And you know what was great about?
We talked about that on the Monday show.
That's right, we did. You know what was great about doing that project?
What's that?
Because what I had to do in order to do that was strip all the guns completely down. You know that, right? You don't just like lay the gun on the ground and
So you had to use cinnamon. You put cinnamon.
Yeah, I used cinnamon. I used the cinnamon to get all the oil and dirt and funk and crud and everything off. So I stripped it all the way down to the bare metal, and then I had to reassemble it, and that gave me the opportunity to reassemble, to clean it thoroughly, reassemble it, and relubricate it. So that's a good thing. That is a positive thing. That's a good thing. So Duracoat. And if you want to check out Duracoat University, go to their homepage, just click the training tab. Boom, you can be a Duracoat master. And it's at DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com. SWAT Fuel, I SWAT fueled up on yesterday. Yeah. So,
yesterday.
Not gonna work here anymore. No, seriously though, I had a lot to do on Thursday. Yeah, on Thursday. So I actually did. I took a little bit of 9mm plus P. I did my lifting. I wrote an article. I wrote the copy for an email. I worked on the new book and sent out some emails. And I think that was it. But I said, yeah. So I got a lot accomplished yesterday, and I did a lot of thinking. Oh, and I recorded an episode of Legion of Michael, too. I forgot about that. That was the other thing I did. Recorded a new episode of Legion of Michael. So,
Legion of Michael podcast. We just launched that a month ago. Was it
actually
March 1st?
9 already.
Oh wow!
This week, this previous week was number 9. The week that you're listening is number 10. So we've got 10 in the can.
You can get that at legionofmichael.com.
That's right, legionofmichael.com. And we hope that you guys are enjoying it, listening to it, and sharing it with your friends. All right, so we talked about SWAT Fuel, talked about Duracoat, talked about Brunells. So now it's time for me to close the hole under my nose and let Zach play that funky music commercial.
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the Pimp Hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. Education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out ShopSOTG.com today and see for yourself.
Speaking of which, speaking of the brands that you love, I hope that you guys are supporting Matt and Star Treatments. We talked about that last week, about how Star Treatments is doing a promotion, and they're trying to, because sadly the pandemic inspired people to stop donating or to reduce their donations or not contribute to charity, which is really kind of effed up. But Star Treatments is a charity. It's all about providing transportation for primarily children who need medical treatment, whether it's cancer treatment or whatever kind of treatment. If you've never been in that position, that's awesome. You're lucky. Count yourself as fortunate. But if you ever find yourself in that position, you realize that I know what it's like to have to go to the hospital every day, man. Like get up every single day and go, not just occasionally or once in a while. And I also know what it's like to get into a vehicle and drive for literally hours to go to medical treatment. And think about that. You got a kid who's sick and now you're commuting 3 hours one direction. Star Treatments provides transportation for these kids and their parents. So that's one less thing they have to worry about. They are a very valuable and worthwhile charity organization, and we're super pleased and happy to be working with them. So, and the easiest way, you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Do you shop at Amazon? No, F Amazon. Okay, well, then you're out of here. But if you do, type in smile.amazon.com, choose Star Treatments as your charity, set it and forget it. And then every time you make a purchase, Amazon will donate money to Star Treatments on your behalf, and it costs you not anything. Really? Yeah, really. And then the other thing you could do is if you go to Shop SOTG and you buy a Star Treatments mug, everybody who buys one of the Star Treatments coffee mugs is going to be entered to win one of the dual autographed copies of Cigar Etiquette for Barbarian. It's a book I wrote, and Matt Dorito, he co-wrote the he wrote the foreword. Matt wrote the foreword to the book. So there you go. Speaking of books, are you guys out there? Are you now a cinephile is somebody who enjoys the cinema. What is a book lover? What is a book?
You could call
book,
a
bookophile?
Nicophile.
A book lover is a bibliophile. Duh.
The biblioteca.
Biblioteca. ¿Dónde está el biblioteca? ¿Dónde está? Yes, a bibliophile. So if you are a bibliophile and you like to be reading, our good buddy Nicholas Orr just released the third book in the Operator series. And this is when you say, what? I didn't even know there was two. Well, there are. It's a series. The first one's just called The Operator. The second one's called Sin City. The third one is called Operation Diomedes. And you say, I don't know what that means. And I say to you, Google it. But the book is available now. And Zach actually made an arrangement with Nicholas Orr where he's going to put signed autographed copies onto the Shop SOTG store. And if you're a dedicated fan and you get our emails, you should have gotten an email from Zach. It was earlier last week, right, Zach?
I got one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. An email letting you know that we were going to be working with Nick to give you guys autographed copies of that book. So there you go. Something to just take your mind off of the crap sandwich that is today's modern world and just to take a break, enjoy some mind candy for a little bit. So that's The Operator, Book 3, Operation Diomedes. And if you haven't checked it out yet, this is one more shameless plug for our friend Nick. There is an official NicholasOrr.com. It is the brand new website. Talks all about the books. Nick's got a couple of articles up now on the blog section. There's an About Me tab. There's a contact. If you really, really, really want to send a message to Mr. Orr and tell him that he's a righteous dude, you can do that. And then, of course, you can find all about the books that he's written. Right now, Mr. Orr has 4 books listed on his website. So there you go. All right, it's time. I think it is. It's time for a Student of the Gun Homeroom brought to you by CrossbreedHolsters.com. Dangerous by Madison Rising. Yes, indeed. So before we go any further, I got to remind you guys, if you go to Crossbreed's website, you can just click the link that's right here in the show notes. Use the promo code SOTG. Not 1-8 anymore. Boop, boop, just SOTG. Right,
Yep. Just
Yep.
SOTG.
Just SOTG, and you'll be saving some ducats. Be a happy camper. Get a good product, a quality product from a family-owned business, and save money doing it. I don't know what else you could possibly ask for or expect. That's it. Oh, man. Let's be careful out there. Hey, let's be careful out there. Who said that? Jared, do you have any idea?
No. Some
Okay.
news head, probably.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh, I don't know.
Nope. Zach, do you? I'm guessing you don't have any idea who said that. Used to say it all the time, but then he died.
I don't know. No, I don't.
All right, Sergeant Phil Esterhaus. Sergeant Phil Esterhaus from Hill Street Blues. Michael Conrad was the name of the actor. Phil Esterhaus was the character on the show, and he would do the morning briefings. And at the end of the morning briefing, he'd say, "Hey, let's be careful out there." That was his catchphrase. He left us way too soon. Bless his heart. He died early. He died young, relatively young. He didn't have to go that soon, but he was only 58 when he died. But let's be careful out there. We're already losing people to hiking, backpacking, camping, day trip accidents. I was actually doing some research. You guys remember when we came to this microphone and told you about the mother-daughter couple who were visiting New Zealand, and they went out for a one-day, it was just going to be a day hike, and 4 days later they found them shivering and dehydrated and alone, mother-daughter huddled together shivering. You guys remember that? They didn't die. Okay.
Yeah.
We kind of report on this stuff whenever it comes up. You know what I mean? Well, we've already the season, it's not even summertime yet, and we've already lost one. We already lost somebody to, well, getting lost. Getting in a Jared, you want to give him a quick brief about this?
Yep. Woman found dead in the mountains after going missing on a hike in Southern California. It says a Southern California woman who never returned from a hike last weekend has been found dead. Narina Avakian, who's 37, of Glendale, California, was found dead Saturday at about 1:30 p.m. after nearly a week of searching by authorities. Avakian told family she was going on a one-day hike around noon on Sunday. When she didn't come back, her family reported her missing on Monday, and they said that Avakian, she often went on solo trips, and they didn't know where she had planned to take a hike that day. That's a huge learning point there, is if you're going on a solo hike, make sure somebody that's important to you knows where you're going, so that if something does happen, if you happen to like fall in a stream and get it knocked out, and then you wake up and
downstream,
let somebody know, downstream, and you don't know where you are, which we had do we have him on the show to talk about that?
JB. Yeah, we did. It was when we were in Biloxi.
Yeah. And so if that something like that does happen to you, then your family knows at least where to go look, or where to send authorities to look, rather than just saying she went hiking. He went hiking somewhere in this state. Her car was found Thursday afternoon, parked at the Buckhorn Date Use area along Angeles Crest Highway. The area is located in Angeles National Forest at 6,700 foot elevation.
Oh, so it's down low.
Yeah. Avakian's body was located Saturday near the Mount Waterman Trail. It should be noted, this is a police statement, it should be noted that this area was heavily impacted by a recent snowstorm. It says Avakian's car was towed for further processing at the Glendale station. Search and rescue crew from Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department was immediately deployed alongside volunteers. And it says, this is more from the police. They say, based on preliminary investigation, it does not appear that foul play was involved with her death. An investigation into Narina Avakian's cause of death is ongoing.
All right. So you're like, well, that's great, Paul. You just depressed the crap out of me. Oh, the reason I'm bringing this up is because, just like clockwork, man, we live in the West. And it doesn't have to be the West. People get lost on the Appalachian Trail all the time. Just like clockwork, every season we start getting reports of missing backpackers, missing hikers, missing. Last fall we actually there's a missing. Remember the guy who was deer hunting over by you, Jared, in Utah, like a 62-year-old dude, and went missing. right? I think he actually had a heart attack while he was out. But the point is this: you got to be prepared. When the second you step off of the asphalt, right? You park your car in the public parking area and you step off of that asphalt parking area into the wilderness. There, and where we live, those places are everywhere. There's a state highway that winds through the mountains. There's a little parking area that fits like 4 or 5 cars. You park, and then there's a bunch of trailheads that go off into the mountains, right? Do not step off of the asphalt unless you have a rescue kit on you, an emergency kit on your body. Don't do it. Well, what do you mean, Paul? I'm just going to go out for a couple of hours. How many stories, Jared? It was a 3-hour tour. It was a 3-hour tour, and they ended up for 3 years on that island, and then for another 20 years in syndication and reruns. Okay? Started as a 3-hour tour, ended up 20 years of syndication and reruns. If you don't Zach, please tell me that your Gen Z self knows what I'm talking about.
My Gen Z self was doing something else. What are we talking about?
It was a 3-hour tour, and it ended up being 20 years of syndication and reruns. A 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.
How I Met Your Mother?
The weather started getting... How I Met Your Mother. Just... All right, Kyle.
Oh, no.
Lean forward and choke yourself.
That was pretty good, though.
Not with your hand, with my hand. Now choke yourself. Gilligan's Island. But anyway, but on a serious note, how many of these lost stories start out with was just going to go out for the day? We were just going to go hike for the day and come back to the car and go home. We weren't planning on staying out overnight. How many? Oh, lots. All the time we come to this microphone and say, we report these stories and the people say, it was just going to go out for a few hours. Just going to go out for the day. I don't need a backpack. I don't need sleeping bags. I don't need any of that stuff. We're just going to go out, walk a few miles, and come back. And a week later, they find him, dead or alive, or what have you. Dudes, it kind of saddens me or depresses me that more people don't understand this. We did, for about a year or two, a wilderness survival kit that basically had all the stuff that you would need in the event that you went out for a day hike, got turned around, were lost, and couldn't figure out how to get back, or fell down into a ravine, or broke your ankle, or slipped and fell into a river and then crawled out of the river and had no idea where you were. Things that actually happen in the really real world all the time. One of the main reasons I bring this up is because if you're going to be backpacking or day hiking or whatever, you need to be able to make, unless nobody knows, unless it's 127 hours thing where no one has any idea where you were and no one's coming to find you, right? Most of the time, someone's going to notice that you didn't come back, right? Or, hey, they were going to go for a hike and now it's 11 o'clock and they haven't come back yet. And now it's the next morning and they haven't come back yet. And they're like, oh, crap, we probably should look for them. Americans, real Americans, not Americans who live in big cities. I'm sorry. That hurt your feelings. But real Americans, like where we live here, real Americans will volunteer and they'll go out and look for you, right? They'll beat the trails and drive up and down the things, and people will get in planes and helicopters and they will look for you. But what you need to do is you need to help them out a little bit, okay? I don't know if you've ever been in an airplane or a helicopter looking down into a 20, 30, 50,000 acre national forest. Most of the trees all just look the same. Most of the ground all looks the same. And when you're in a helicopter, looking down, a human in the trees, kind of hard to spot. All right? You need to do something to help them, right? Something. I don't know. There's many things that you can do. One of the things that you could do is take some kind of emergency signaling gear with you. Now, what do we know about from our PFT discussions? We use smoke in the daytime and pyro at night, right? Now, can you shoot marine rescue flares in the daytime? Yeah, you can. If it's a super bright day, sometimes it's kind of hard to notice because it only burns for like 10 to 15 seconds and then it's burned out. Oh. So generally speaking, when it's bright and sunny, we use colored smoke to signal. And when it's dark, cloudy, nighttime, overcast, whatever, we use pyrotechnics or flares because they stand out. You say, yeah, that's great, but I'm not going to haul around a whole bunch of flares and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. It costs too much and it's too heavy and I'm not going to hike it. No, it's not the case at all. So, recently, sometimes even the devil helps you out. Now, I was the victim of, it was either, I think it was Facebook. It was some kind of a social media pop-up ad video. And normally I'm annoyed by those things and nothing that they have to say interests me. But somehow I got targeted for an ad by a company called Shutter Bombs. You're like, what in the world is that? Well, Shutter Bombs is actually a company that sells colored smoke, little smoke grenades. Now they're not aluminum pole pin like you see in military movies and stuff like that. Now they are wire pull, right? You yank a wire, there's a little ring, and you pull the wire, and it starts smoking. What's weird or strange to me is I actually was aware of the parent company before this, but I just never was inspired to go farther and buy their product. But the little ad, it inspired me, and I looked at it, and I said, okay, I did some research, and okay, great. Because with the Patriot Fire Team, we've been telling people, we've been harping on, you need to have lots of forms of communication. Radios are one, but you can't always rely on that. Sometimes you either need to signal a bunch of people or you need to send a signal to people you can't get on the radio or on the phone. How do you do that? And military grade, law enforcement grade smoke and pyro, either A, you can't get it because you're not allowed because you're just a civilian, or B, if you do find it, it's kind of expensive. And so what I've been looking for is reliable, affordable, and available, right? I've been looking for those things when it comes to smoke. Well, I ordered some, and Jared and I went out and we tested it, and we tested their basic model. It's called the WP-40, but it's the original. It was a red smoke. Pulled it, dropped it. Jared ran a timer. Now they say it'll last at least 60. The manufacturer's guarantee is that it'll give you 60 full seconds of smoke. It ended up burning for 90.
Yep.
So
90 seconds.
And it's what they call cool smoke. If you know anything about military pyrotechnics, smoke grenades and gas grenades that are in the little aluminum canisters, they burn, and they burn super hot. And that's something that is always a concern for military training, is not setting the woods on fire with smoke grenades and stuff. Because if you toss those things into a pile of pine needles, you will have a fire. Let me tell you, as somebody who's been there and done that, I've seen a green smoke canister start a fire at Camp Lejeune at the K ranges. Okay. So, but these, the ones from Shutter Bombs, they burn, but they don't burn super hot, I guess. So it's kind of what they call a cool smoke. You can actually hold it in your hand while it's burning. Now you don't want it by your face because you breathe it in. You'll be like, but you could hold it in your hand if you wanted to. Here's the good news. You can buy it. you're allowed, as a citizen, you're allowed to buy it, and they're available, and they're actually affordable. They've got a variety of different styles, right? They have a variety of different styles, but the base model, last time I checked, they were on sale for like $10.99 per unit. And I don't know when the last time you checked about, and you're like, I can go to the fireworks stand. Stop. If you just said I can go to the fireworks stand and get them cheaper than that, go. Then go to the fireworks stand. These are not Chinese. These are not Chinese fireworks. These are actually made in the USA smoke grenades, right? Smoke producing.
They work really well.
And they work. So if I was, all right, say, going back to our original story, I'm hoping if you are a backpacker or a hiker, or you like to do these day trips or something, I would hope that you had at least a day pack. I mean, if you're just walking out in the woods with your cell phone and your sneakers and nothing else on you, you're kind of a mongoloid, okay? You are. So you got a day pack. These little smoke, the basic model smoke canisters, a couple ounces. They weigh a couple of ounces. You get a couple of them. Let's say you get two of them, just so you have a backup, right? You get two of them. Your investment's less than $25, and you have less than a pound. That's pretty good insurance. That's pretty good insurance in case you get lost. Now I'm gonna close this out. I'm gonna give you a word of advice. You don't just pop the smoke the millisecond you realize you're lost, okay? Because nobody's gonna say it. What you do is, if you are lost and you're waiting for someone to find you or whatever, and you hear that helicopter, you hear that airplane, that's when you go into the clearing and you let the smoke off, okay? Or that's when you fire off the flare, is when you hear the airplane, or you see the airplane, or you see the helicopter. Like I said, we saw that one TV show that was written apparently by mongoloids, where the lady realized she was lost. So the first thing she did was she's like, oh, we're lost. So she pulled out the flare gun and shot one up in the air, and she sat down, and no one came to rescue her. No kidding. That's amazing. A flare is not a homing beacon. So, I mean, there's lots of things you can do. This is just one of them. There are marine flares you can get from stores. They tend to be, they're good, but they tend to be a little pricey. And depending on where you are, you may or may not be able to find them. And of course, you can do all kinds of other stuff with these things. I mean, if you're a professional photographer or videographer, one of the reasons they're called shutter bombs is because they're sold primarily to videographers and photographers to enhance their media. I mean, that's what they do. And if you go there, you're like, oh, look at all these cool pictures that people took with blue smoke and green and red and orange and so forth. And then, if you want to do other stuff, I don't care. Do whatever you want. You're an American. But Jared and I sat down and we talked about it, and we said, yeah, this is something we should tell our audience about. We should let them know.
Yeah. No, this stuff works really great. And so what we did is we created a link for you, studentofthegun.com/shutterbombs. And that, if you do end up buying through that link, it will support us as well.
Yes.
Because this product actually, it works pretty well. So go do that.
You can help support Student of the Gun and get a good product at the same time.
Yep. No extra cost to you. It's like doing the smile.amazon.com, except for
That's
Student
right.
of the Gun is not a nonprofit.
No, we're a for-profit because I got to pay.
We got to support the
bills to pay, freak.
Yep. Got to support the team. Got to make sure they got a place to live and some food to eat.
Yep. Okay. Do we have any cues that require my A?
I didn't see any. Nope, I don't see any.
There are no cues that require my A. All right. So, you say, all right, Paul, you're a super smart guy. You Mr. Smarty Marty. All right, great. What else should go in your day pack? in your day pack, you should have the ability to build a fire. You should have the instruments and tools that you need to build a fire. I don't care if it's 18 disposable lighters. Whatever you want to have to build a fire, you should have that in there. You're like, but I'm not going to build a fire because there's fire restrictions right now. You're lost and you're going to die if you don't have a fire. Build a fire. But I'm not allowed. There's fire restrictions. If you don't build a fire, you're going to die. That's the end of the story. A space blanket, the silver space blankety things that we put in the enhanced or in the combat kit. We have a combat pocket lifesaver. That's right. It's called the combat, right, Zach?
It's called the Combat Lifesaver.
The Combat Lifesaver. In the Combat Lifesaver, there is a silver space blanket, and two things. Number one, it keeps you warm, and number two, it's reflective as crap because it's silver. And if it's sunny time, it's sunny, and you go out into a clearing with this 6 foot by 6 foot silver space blanket, and you're reflecting lots of sunlight, someone's probably gonna notice. You want that. So for sure. So you need to be able to build a fire. You need to be able to, I would say, take the space blanket weighs 2 ounces. I would take a medical kit with you. No, I have my phone. I'll just call 911. Okay. For those people who aren't mongoloids in the audience, take a medical kit with you. Take a medical kit with you. Take the space blanket with you. Take something that you can use to make fire. And then if you're smart, you'll grab a couple of, these easy things like the shutter bombs or some kind of red smoke or something. Now they have green and blue and so forth, but if I'm going to choose a color, I'm going to choose a color that's going to stand out amongst green trees and grass and stuff, like orange or red, or they even have a purple violet one. Because if somebody's flying a helicopter and they like, hey man, there's purple smoke coming out of those trees, they're probably going to figure out that purple smoke doesn't occur naturally in the forest. Orange smoke, red smoke doesn't occur naturally in the forest. They're like, maybe I should investigate that. White smoke, maybe not so much, because in the national forest, there's always lightning strikes and little smoldering crap and so forth. But purple smoke coming out of a stack of trees, that's a clue. That's a clue. There's probably a person down there. So there you go. Do I need to talk about the fires? How you build rescue fires? Rescue signaling fires?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. If you get lost and you can't get out, you broke your ankle or your knee or whatever, or you're just walking around in circles and you're like, well, this ain't doing me any good. I don't know where I'm going anyway.
You have to spell help and then light it on a fire.
No.
Nope. Okay.
3 fires. Start a fire. All right. First of all, do whatever you need to do. If you're not a Boy Scout and you know how to start a fire, well, you need to figure it out. Start 1 fire. All right. They'll keep your mind busy and give you comfort. So do that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to create a triangle. Do them like between 10 and 15 yards apart. And you're going to create a triangle, and you're going to start 1 little fire. Then you're going to start another little fire. Then you're going to start another little fire. And then you're going to have a triangle of 3 fires. And you're like, why? Because that doesn't occur naturally in nature. If someone's flying over at 5,000 feet and looks down and sees 3 fires in a perfect triangle, they're going to know that that was on purpose and that a human did that on purpose to signal them. That wasn't just a lightning strike and started a bunch of, pine needles smoldering or whatever. They're going to know that was on purpose. And at nighttime, if it gets dark or it's cloudy or foggy or whatever, and they're up and they see the light, if you just see 1 flickering, you're like, maybe it's something, maybe it's not, I don't know. But if you see 3 in a triangle, then that is an indication that there's a human there and they did that on purpose. So, or don't. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. I don't believe you. All right. Well, you don't believe me. Okay. Well, but you need to have something to start fire with, man. Yeah, like I said, I don't care. You fill your pack up with Bic lighters or whatever. But the great thing about the ferrocerium rods or the sparking rods or whatever is they don't run out of fuel. You don't ever have to worry, oh, crap, I ran out of fuel. Nope. They never run out. Just until you scrape all the way through them, till you scrape them 10,000 times and they don't work anymore. You know, for the time being, they'll probably work okay. So there you go. Let's be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's that time. Starting to get nice out. People are going to start taking vacations. People are going to start going out into the national parks and state parks and all that stuff. Do not step off the asphalt. I don't care if it's just a 3-hour tour. I don't care if it's just a day hike. We're going to hike up to that peak, have lunch, and hike back. Do not step off the asphalt without some type of an emergency rescue kit in your day pack. And if your thought is, well, I have my phone and I don't need anything else, I'm sorry for you. And you need an adult. You need adult supervision. Anybody who says the words, it's okay, I have my phone, you need adult supervision. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm here, to provide adult supervision. All right, boys, is that enough for today? Does that fill their cup? Is their cup runneth over?
I think so, yeah.
All right, your cup runneth over.
It feels like the very first time.
It feels like the first time. That's right. That's right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, you're a beginner once,
a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.